brands and consumers are evolving for us is an everyday situation. We serve 6 million customers every day, and therefore we're getting a very broad myriad of what they need. And we've got to be able to be as precise as we can be and meet each person's need, even while we have so many. So what we do is, in terms of research, is we literally use our communities, our stores, and our customers as a platform for our research. We do in-store focus groups by just recruiting consumers who are in the store that day to ask them very specific things about what they need and want and what they're getting and not getting. We have almost 2 million Facebook friends, and we do ad hoc omnibus questions with them on an ongoing basis. We think about our store in zones, ranging from the toy section to the consumables to the beauty to the pharmacy, and we try to zero in then on what are the very specific needs those consumers have, because we can literally shift our assortment store by store as needed to meet those needs. So coevolution in a retail environment is a pretty big subject, but one that, because we have so many customers, we can create our own research methodologies right there within it. Some of the challenges of getting that data in a real-time fashion is that we often see a trend occur, and then we've got to scramble and try to get the information and get it in a statistically valid way, certainly, because we're not just asking to hear, we're asking to act on it. But I think that we do have so many customers who are interested in helping us to make our brand better that we tend to get response fairly quickly. And then again, since we are so large, we have very nice structure around our insights organization that includes a significant analytic capability offshore who can analyze very large quantities of data for us very quickly. So we've been able to get the questions answered and then get the information in the hands of those who can help us analyze it in a more quick fashion. One of the examples of how we've taken action in responding to consumers is that we did focus groups in our Puerto Rico stores. And our Puerto Rico stores are incredible from the standpoint of the beauty sections are very extensive, the toys and the consumables sections are very extensive. The pharmacy has not been an area of strength for us necessarily in Puerto Rico. So we recruited the consumers in the store those days in several different stores to ask what they were particularly interested in. And while I can't disclose all the findings because that would be competitively disadvantageous, we literally took what we heard from them those days, turned it around, got back to the stores, helped them to understand some of the pain points those customers were feeling, and we've been able to then subsequently follow up and find that that's been a first step. You know, it's not the complete solution, but a first step in remedying some of the pain points they had. Well, there's no question that getting answers quickly so you can act on them and have business impact quickly is very, very important. We do a number of things, and they're all things that I'm pretty proud of as we approach understanding and informing our business unit leaders to make better business decisions that result in a higher return. The first is really plan ahead, because if you can plan ahead, you can act more quickly. So we now have 18 to 24 month rolling learning plans for every single business unit that are based on the strategies that that business unit is intending. So we look for what are the white spaces in knowledge, or what are some of the gaps they have to be able to make a business decision, and we map that into a learning plan so that all the pieces of the plan keep feeding on each other instead of just one shot research here and there. So planning ahead actually helps us be speedier. The second thing is that we've put together several very important dashboards for our businesses. So I've developed a multi-dimensional marketing scorecard that measures everything from the day-to-day baskets and traffic and share and price sensitivity to attitudes, opinions, advocacy, and all the typical measures you'd expect marketing to have, but it's all on a dashboard that we're monitoring on a continuous basis. That dashboard then, of course, lets me look at trend and determine if there's something that's off kilter. We also have a customer satisfaction tracker that measures all the way down to every individual store, by department, by week. So we can really look for changes that occur on those trends on a pretty swift basis to allow our operators and our merchants to respond to any needs there. And it's interesting, of course, if you have some kind of a supply chain bobble, You see a change in the issue around out of stocks, and it comes up very quickly. So we're able to measure that. The third thing we do is we do a constant series of surveys and omnibus type questions through Facebook and Twitter and our online to get consumer feedback on topics as they arise. So when H1N1 was really prominent and we were in the communities trying to respond to that, we were able to understand the fear factors and the things that were concerns and help to shape the message that would allow people to know they could get a solution in our stores. So I think it's planning ahead, it's having dashboards and scorecards and monitoring those, and then it's being able to get at the questions and response to those as quickly as we can. You know, it's almost an irony that with the vast amount of information we have today, it makes the experts who we turn to in our organizations, their job that much harder, right? So you'd think that more data would make our insights leaders make it easier to do their jobs. But in fact, I think what is really unique about a great insights leader today is their ability to start by understanding the business and the drivers of the business and what the strategies are, and then constantly knit the insights with the compilation of what they're learning. So in the past, you know, we would do a test market and we'd go to behavior scan and we would track the behavior scan results and we'd say it worked or it didn't. Today, there's so many more dimensions of really accurate insights available that it really isn't one-shot answer. It's that fabric that's created by looking at everything from attitude to feelings to competitive response to the actual interaction with the experience in the store or the product in order to make a full picture that says, the idea is a good one, but it could be that much better if we just tweak it this way. Or consumers like the idea, but we're not presenting it to them in a way that's meaningful. And those kinds of ability to knit the facts and the insights to be able to advise and be a consultant to the businesses is really one of the most important skill sets I see in a successful insights leader. Now, the other thing, though, that I think is consistent with the past, they've got to be great listeners, they've got to be great collaborators, and they've got to be great at having a point of view. And those who don't have a point of view, frankly, I don't think will have very long careers, because you can only execute the research and report the results so many times before somebody says, I don't know what your role is. If you don't give me the recommendation and your point of view about it, I can't interpret the data and know what to do with it on my own. So those skills have always been important for insights people, but I think even more today because it's so much more complex, they've got to have a point of view and be willing to make a recommendation that's informed by all that. Probably the best example of our team really challenging status quo and having it be a little uncomfortable for everyone was when we implemented and then subsequently started to track our customer satisfaction information. The historical approach had been to use the receipt and if people wanted to, they could call the number on the receipt. We still do some of that, but we augment it with even more understanding about what's going on in the store. We also only had a one-question survey. You know, what was your overall satisfaction? Well, there's so many experiences going on, you end up with a neutral average rather than real insight you can act on. So when we implemented the new customer satisfaction, where we were measuring department level and we were measuring on a 9-point scale, which meant delight, the very, very top number was hard to earn, it changed the trend of the data. And so that sort of nice fat average 80, 90% satisfaction started to look a little bit more concerning to people because the delight scores were ranging depending on the customer type at very low levels to very high levels, and they didn't understand that. And yet, so the approach was, well, let's average and do kind of top 5 box and try to get it a nice fat average that looks more like what we're used to. And our team kept saying, but you're going to only change business result if you change the highest levels of satisfaction. And so they've been very aggressive to continue to provide a monitoring that gives a trendable look at the world, but also to zero in on that delight score and say, but we're not hitting it on delight yet. What are the issues related to that? And really pressing people to understand that it's that last step that's going to make a big difference in our customer experience. And it's finally gotten to the point where people are starting to speak of delight and express what they know they need to do in the stores to make that delight occur. And we're seeing a trend improvement as a result. So Takes a little bit of getting adjusted to the way that we do things sometimes, but then pressing for the information and the change that will really make a difference. We have a number of different methods that we gather the data at the store level. One is still receipt, because some people don't have a computer, but we also have, they can go online and answer the questionnaire there. And that's the store level insights. What we do to get market and competitive is we have an outbound survey that goes to get at the competitive perceptions of the same measures so that we can triangulate the two. So we're looking at actual customer in a store who took the instigated themselves to respond, and then we're doing a general survey of people who've shopped and get a comparative to competition. And those two looks at it are quite different from what they were used to before, and I think they're starting to see what the value is in that. One of my biggest challenges but most exciting frontiers to explore right now is this space around locational and mobile marketing. We have stores within 3 miles of 63% of the US population. We're also the 5th most visited Foursquare site from a mobile standpoint. So that really says they are already in my store and they're already checking in. So how shall I react to that and provide them with what they really want when they check in, as an example. But more importantly, since our stores do mold to the community they're in, we already have a really ideal situation if we can activate geodemographically in a more efficient way, because it can be very inefficient to do that, as we all know. So the challenge right now is it's kind of an optimization exercise. We have stores and great teams in our local communities who know their customer and they respond to that on an intuitive basis. And then we have programs and demand stimulation activities we want to apply to that to stoke the growth. In order to do that efficiently, we've got to figure out that great intersection between what we already know, what we don't know, and who's coming in, and how we can deliver those more micro messages in a way that'll activate higher and higher demand at a micro level. So I wish I had all the answers to that, because I really don't, but I'm fascinated by what we have available to us now, even on old tried and true mechanisms like our Sunday circular, because there's so much more geodemographic targeting we can do there. The online Roto, we have over 1.5 million subscribers to that now, and they have it on their mobile phone. They can just flip through it with it in the store. But of course that comes with them being able to comparative shop online too in a way that is more finite than ever before. So, wish I had all the answers. We're getting there, but I'm trying to figure it out, and it's really this big optimization exercise to figure out how we're going to be able to deliver more and more targeted efforts. We are only now dipping our toe into the venture around Foursquare and similar sites. We see a ton of value in that. We also see that we could stub our toe by really just mass marketing and communicating things we think are important, but aren't to those particular customers. So we're refining what we're doing there, and then we're going to build from a core capability rather than just start shooting at them. Because I see too many marketers do that. It's like, oh, I got a new tool, I'm just going to start shooting at it. And that's not how it's going to resonate with the customer ultimately. I'd like to share a program we are doing that's kind of interesting and will intersect these things. We are launching in Times Square on April 6th, Walk with Walgreens. And it's a program that intersects mobile, online, in-store, health, cause marketing, and a number of other elements into a platform that says walking is the best thing you can do for your health. And it's one of the leading things that all of the American Heart Association and others say will help prevent health issues. So we want to really position the fact that we're so local and so close to so many people as walk to Walgreens, walk with Walgreens, engage in Walgreens through mobile and online, and you'll get rewarded for the walking beyond the health rewards by participating in this program with us and being part of a community of walking. And so we're going to use that platform as a place to refine some of our capabilities in the geodemographic space right now. The Times Square initiative is really just the national launch event, but the program is in every community on that day it starts. And so you can participate on an everyday basis log in, join, keep track of your steps. When you check in, you get rewards for that. You can friend your friends, you can connect your walks, you can plot them on Google Walks and post them so people can go. And then we also have associations with a number of core cause associations who do walks. So Susan G. Komen, American Cancer Society, Relay for Life. So periodically in every market, we'll also be a co-sponsor of these events so that we're helping to support causes that walking will help to prevent. So there's a number of, a myriad of elements that go with that that I just can't disclose completely right now, but it's really a national platform.